I'm Jordan Banderas, also known as The Bad Influence, and welcome back to another episode of the Bad Influence podcast. But before we begin, please remember to hit that subscribe or follow button so you don't miss out on any episodes. So, I recently made a poll on my social media pages about what kind of topics you guys wanted me to talk about. And I got a lot of feedback because I also asked if you guys had any questions to DM them to me or email them to me, and I will answer them throughout the episodes. And thanks for writing in because I got a lot of questions. And some of these questions are very good, and I feel that people need to hear the answer to some of these questions. So, on today's episode, I'm going to do that. I'm going to give you an answer to one of the questions that I received because especially with everything that's going on right now, I feel like this is a very important question due to today's environment. And the question that I got is it essential to have a why in life to keep you going? And my answer to that is yes. Actually, it's a fuck yes. You need to have a why in life. You need to have a reason to get up and go to work and grind hard. You need a strong enough reason to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You need a strong enough reason to work so damn hard that people will believe that you have gone crazy mad. That's why a why does. It literally pushes you out of your comfort zone and it helps you reach a whole nother level that you never thought it was possible. And in my opinion, you need to believe so strongly about this why in your life because if you don't have that one thing that you can reach for in the back of your mind to grab onto in hard times, that one thing that makes you not even think about being tired, sick, or in pain, then you won't be able to do or achieve the things you are trying to accomplish. Because you're gonna be like, meh, you're just gonna be so content with what you have. And if that makes you happy, congratulations, you have found something that made you happy. But in my opinion, without a why, we tend to become too complacent and too comfortable in our comfort zone. We literally say to ourselves, like I was saying, meh, this is good enough for me. Meh, I don't have to do anything hard today. I'm okay with the life that I have. And we also tell ourselves that it's too hard, that it's too scary, that we're gonna fail. We do all these things and we tell bullshit like that to ourselves. But what is going to drive you if you don't have a why? If you don't have a reason to do what you must do, then what is going to push you to get out of that comfort zone? To say, you know what, this cause or this person needs my help, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to help that person or that cause. And you're probably wondering right now, maybe even thinking, Jordan, how do I choose a why? And that is actually pretty hard. That's why a lot of people don't have a why, because sometimes you don't know how to pick one thing out of the thousands of things that you like or out of the thousands of things that you see around you. So it's hard. But here's what I have realized, and I just realized this recently, actually a few years ago. Whatever your why is, you absolutely need to have an emotional connection to it, which is kind of hard right now. We have become a society that likes to build walls. We cannot be emotionally attached to something or someone because we're afraid of getting hurt. That's what I have seen. But the reason behind this thinking of mine is that nothing will move you more to do something for a cause than having a powerful connection to it. Think about something that ignites a fire inside you that you will be willing to do whatever it takes to learn about it so you can actually help it or do something that will help that thing or cause get better or get to a certain level where you feel comfortable and then moving on to the next thing. That's pretty much what you have to do. You have to have an emotional connection. But here's the thing, and this is why it's hard, like I was mentioning, because in order for you to have an actual emotional connection to something, you have to let yourself feel every moment in your life. Because when you do this, there will be a point in your life where you will start to feel things towards people, causes, animals, children, family members, etc. You're gonna have this feeling where it's like, you know what? I want to help this person find the right care, or I want to help children get fed. I want to help the homeless. I want to do this. But you have to have this emotional connection to it. That way you can actually say, you know what? I'm tired today, but this thing that I call my why requires my help, and I can't quit helping it because I see the progress that I'm making by helping this particular person or cause. That's one of the things that I have realized throughout the last 6 years. And when you let yourself feel every moment in your life, you're gonna be able to pick what drives you. You know what gives you that feeling like, oh my gosh, this is my why. Because let's say, like I said, you're gonna meet people, you're gonna learn about causes and everything. And if it makes you feel that, it's kind of hard to describe, but it's that feeling of I have to do something, then you're gonna be able to do something. But without that emotional connection, you're just gonna stall and be like, you know what, I don't care about that. And a lot of people actually go through their whole lives doing that. Like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that person, whatever. And that's not what life should be. Because without a why, we literally don't have a drive. And one way to help find your why in life is to think about what would you do if money and time were not an issue. Because that's one thing that we like to give as an excuse. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the money to learn or to take courses or whatever, I have to work. And that's totally fine. That's life. That's pretty much what happens. But you have to find a way to work around that. And when you have that big why behind you, you will find a way. You actually find a way. Another question that you will have to ask yourself in order for you to find your why is what would you do with your life if you didn't have to worry about working the grind every day? The answers to these questions can give you some insight into what drives you. That's one of the things. That's how I actually felt that I was able to find my why as well. Another way to find your why is to think about what makes you happy, what brings you joy or fulfillment. Because when you have a why, a big why, this reason that you get up every morning and say like, I have to do this, you're gonna feel fulfilled. You're gonna have this happiness. You're gonna have this joy of doing it. Because there's a reason behind it. You will feel like you have make a difference towards something. And that's very important. And now that I'm talking about it, probably you're asking, Jordan, what's your why? We want to know about what your why is. And a lot of people ask me that as well. The person that sent me the question that I'm answering on today's episode actually asked me that. And for me, my why is my wife. The reason why she became this powerful drive in my life is because I have seen her suffer. And I mean suffer. Because when I started to see her go downhill when she got sick and saw that the healthcare system was tossing her from doctor to doctor, it ignited a powerful feeling inside of me that I had never felt before. Because I got angry. I was so angry. I was so incensed with the healthcare system that I have literally made it my mission to become more intelligent than the doctors so I can get her the help that she needs. So I can get her the help that is actually helping her and not just tossing her around like a freaking pancake and being like, oh, I can't do anything, go to the next doctor. Now, what I have done is that I have done so much research about her illnesses that I know more than the doctors. And you're probably thinking, why would you do that? Like, that's hard. And yes, it was freaking hard. But the reason why I do it is because she is my wife. And now, every time we go to her doctor's appointments, the doctors roll their eyes when they see me because I ask a lot of questions and I have the information that they don't have. So they hate that because they're the ones who went to school. But guess what? My wife is not their why. My wife is just another patient. My wife to them is just another number that they have to check, you know? So I made that my mission to know more about them. Even though they don't like it, I still do it because I want my wife to get the best help that she deserves. And I also feel, and I'm just going to put it out there, that by now, with all the research and how much more information I have than the actual doctors, I should have a freaking PhD by now. I should have my doctorate behind me. But I didn't go to school for it. But still, I know more than the freaking doctors because I have a why. And unfortunately for them, my why is their patient. So I'm going to know more about the illnesses that my wife has than them. Another reason why I do it and people think that I'm crazy is because I will lay down my life for her. I will kill for my wife. That's how invested I am on my wife. That's why I decided to get better. That's why I decided to work on myself because she needed me when she was at her lowest. But by now you also may be thinking, probably you will have done that before, right? No. The answer is no. Actually, a fuck no. Because I have never done that even for myself. Like when I was sick, I would just go to the doctor and expect for them to fix me. When I heard others getting sick, it's like, well, you're on your own, go to the doctor. Until I had to deal with doctors because of my wife, and I saw that the healthcare system has so many issues. That's one of the things. And one of the reasons why my wife is such a big drive in my life is because we have this indescribable emotional connection. For the last almost 9 years, we have worked so hard on our relationship that we have become pretty much soulmates. We have become soulmates. She is my soulmate. She knows when I'm sad. She can see when something is going on in my life, even though I tell her that I'm okay, and vice versa. I can do the same thing because we have that connection. And that's one of the reasons that I mentioned. Like, you have to have this strong connection with the cause or the person in order for that one thing to become your why. Because You're gonna feel that you need to quit. You're gonna feel that you can't do it. You're gonna feel like you're going against the most powerful current in the world. Well, in this case, I kind of am because the healthcare system sucks and it's too big. It's too big to fail, I guess. But I made it my mission. Like, this is my mission, to know more than the doctors, to tell them what they're doing wrong, to tell them what works, to tell them what doesn't work, so they can either figure it out or send us to the right doctor. Because we have done that so many times where the doctor says, hey, I don't have anything else to do. I don't know what else to do. I'm at a loss. And this is why they hate me, because I'm like, well, if you don't know what to do, can you refer us to someone that might be able to do something that actually knows more than you about this particular condition? And they hate it. They hate it. But they're like, she's my wife. She's my wife. And I gotta make sure that she has the best treatments that we can afford right now. Now, your why may not be as dramatic as mine. And it doesn't have to be. That's one thing. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but because it could be something as simple as wanting to provide a better life for your family, or wanting to help others in need. You know, like feeding the homeless, helping kids get fed, things like that. It doesn't have to be super dramatic. The key is to find something that makes you willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it. You know, if you want to see something get big, you know, that helps a lot of people, then you're going to have to do a lot of work. You're going to have to start from scratch multiple times. You're going to have to recruit people and everything like that, because once you have found your why, staying focused on it, it's crucial. And don't let other people's opinions or motivations sway you from your path. Because you can partner up with others and work together to achieve your goals, but always keep sight of your why. It's also important to remember that your why may change over time. You know, let's say you start feeding the homeless and you want to make that your mission. But all of a sudden you see that, let's say, like people at hospice are treated like shit and they don't get fed good food. So you decide to change that. So you go from feeding the homeless, even though you're still going to be able to do that, but you move on to another thing, which is feeding people in hospice or feeding children in need, giving food to people that can't really afford it. You know, that's one thing. Yeah, that's how your why will change and grow and evolve. Because as you grow and evolve, your passions and your priorities will shift too. So you have to understand that just because your passions and your priorities change or shift, that doesn't mean that your why is still not there. Because you have to be bold and reevaluate your why and make the necessary adjustments. But in order for you to do that, you have to have this connection. You have to have that emotion towards it. You have to have that thing that makes you say, like, I can't not do anything. I have to do something about this. And that's how you find your why. And when you have that why, when you find it, you will know what I'm talking about. Because until you have that burning desire, that force pushing you out of your comfort zone, it's hard to understand it. I never understood that while I was growing up. I heard people say, like, you have to have a why, you have to have a why. And it's like, well, isn't a why living? Like, it can be just living? Well, it's not. You have to live for something other than yourself. And that's very important. And that's what I wanted to share on today's episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the growth and the feedback. Remember to share, like, and subscribe. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The link is in the episode's description. And if you want to email me a question that you want me to answer throughout the episodes, you can email them to me at bjordanthebadinfluence@gmail.com. You can send them to me via DM or anything like that, and I will answer them. Like I said, there were so many questions that I have episodes for a long time, so thank you. And here are my final thoughts. When you find your why, you may not see it, but you will feel it. Stand up for it, because you will succeed. And have a great day.